Hello. So I haven't posted a video in a while. I haven't really felt like there's anything I really wanted to say for the most part. But here I am, 20 months into my residentially challenged journey, and I figured I would share some insights. I guess I'll start off by saying that, for one thing, I don't do my homeless journey like I've seen other people do. I don't utilize the services that are available for other homeless. The reasons for that are for personal growth and development. That may not make sense. For anybody who's never been homeless, the first thing you'd probably tell someone who's homeless, hey, go find a shelter. You don't know any better. If you've never been to a place like that, you've never been around those types of people, you wouldn't know. If you are someone who values peace of mind, values being clean and sober, values your boundaries, and values your peace, if you prioritize those, you stay away from places that can jeopardize those. Homeless shelters, in my experience, are definitely one of the places you don't want to go if you value those things. The reason for that is because, for those who don't know, there are these misconceptions that I've encountered since I've been out here, that homeless shelters are a safe place to go, there's no drug use, etc. And I'm sure there are some places that are like that. Most of the places I've encountered, there may not be drug use at the shelter, but I've encountered staff there who dealt drugs, and just right outside the shelter premises, everybody's doing drugs. Then they go in and they pretend to be neat and clean. And I know someone could say, well, you don't have to accept the drugs. You don't have to do the drugs yourself. No, I don't. But if you're an addict and you're in a situation in life that's challenging on a daily basis, like being homeless, it is really, really tempting at times to resort to something that helps you escape for a bit. I learned a long time ago that doesn't really help. Now, it's not to say that I haven't indulged once or twice since I've been out here. Certainly I have, not many times, but there definitely have been moments where I just find, excuse my language, but I just finally said, fuck it, I need a break, and I found the first thing that came along. And the important thing is when you're going through your spiritual growth and development, is not to condemn yourself, not to be hard on yourself when you make mistakes. That doesn't mean justify. That just means show yourself some love and try not to do it again. Learn from it. I used to go to food banks. Food banks are a good resource. Unfortunately for me, since I wasn't engaging in drugs, I wasn't engaging in alcohol, I wasn't engaging with liaisons with the opposite gender, or any of the other comforts that typically people go to these days, I went to food. I've always loved food. I had the weight on me prior to this journey to prove it. I think my heaviest I was 240. I think now that I've gotten away from the food banks and that comfort eating, I'm down to about 170. And prior to starting this journey, I was diabetic and I'd gotten my blood sugar under control. And for the longest time while I was out here, for over a year, I had it under control. But then when I started going to those food banks, oh man, just so much high carbohydrate, high sugar foods. They rely on donations from stores, so grocery stores are filled with sugar and carbohydrates. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but I think I had a nutritionist tell me it's like 95% of the things in the store outside of the produce section are garbage. I believe that. So now, since I'm not going to the homeless shelters, I'm not going to the food banks, I won't pop a sign and beg. That doesn't mean I don't ask for help once in a while. Sometimes I feel compelled to ask. If I'm having a conversation with somebody and they're just a genuinely nice person, I might ask and say, hey, can you help me with something to eat today? But other than that, nah. For one, in my spiritual journey, one of the things that I've been trying to overcome is lack mindset. And I've been kind of sitting on the fence this entire journey about whether asking someone for help like that is lack mindset or if it's manifesting. I don't know if asking for help is controlling and not going with the flow, or if I'm supposed to ask. There are there used to be a lot of confusing lessons that I needed to learn in my journey out here, and that's one of them I still am a little foggy about. All of the videos, the tutorials, everything I've read about manifestation, it was always off in some way. One day I hope that I can come up with an accurate, concise guide to manifestation, because it is such an easy thing to mess up. In order for perfect manifestation to happen, it seems to me at this point, you had to have done enough work on yourself that you've eliminated negative thought process altogether. And you've let go of controlling things completely. And you learn to sit and be comfortable in not knowing what's going to happen next, and going with the flow and just letting the universe take care of things. That requires patience too, something that, while I'm a lot better at, I still struggle with patience when it comes to that. When I wake up in the morning, I'm hungry and I don't have food, and I've got to just sit and chill somewhere, like on a bench somewhere for a day, with my stomach growling and not want to control the situation is extremely difficult. You have to also get to the point where you can forego the wants of the ego. I had to learn to master myself physically to the point where I don't let hunger get in the way, no matter how many days it's been. I don't know what the longest stretch I've gone without food is since I've been out here. I don't remember. 5 days, maybe 6, I don't know. But I can tell you, once it gets up around 3 days, it is really difficult to ignore that hunger and to go with the flow, because your mind starts working overdrive trying to find ways that you can finagle food some way. Now, the reason that I put myself through this, because there are things I could do to make my life easier. Like one thing, let me backtrack a little bit. Like, I had Social Security for the first, I lost my Social Security about 3 months ago. Don't know the precise reason why. I can guess. I think it's because since I've been out here, I have not taken the psychotropic medications that I used to be on. Since I've dived headfirst into this journey of healing, self-discovery, and growth, I haven't needed the medications. Since I've been meditating and making that a daily practice, the anxiety, the depression, all the things that I was on medication for, the symptoms have gradually gone by the wayside. I'm not saying they're completely gone. I still have days where I feel that nagging of anxiety, and there's still some days where I feel a little bit down. I don't know how anybody couldn't have days where they feel down living in a situation like this. Another thing I've had to overcome is what people think about me. That's one of the big ego deaths that I had, is just not caring anymore. Just realizing that I am a good quality person, and that how I look is not representative of who and how I am. And if other people can't or won't see that, that's not my problem. I'm not going to sacrifice my own inner peace simply because of someone else's issues. And I do get a lot of people who try to mess with me simply because I'm homeless. I have had my campsites wrecked numerous times I've been out here by people who are not in need. I'll just put it that way. They just don't like that there are homeless people around. They're an eyesore. It's really sad that people are that full of hate, or can be. But I also get treated really well by some people too. It's kind of, most homeless people I encounter when I'm out here, you can tell they're homeless. And most of them are okay with looking homeless because that's how they get help. It has been suggested to me many times out here by other homeless veterans that I scrounge myself up a bit, but nah, I like being clean. I don't like looking homeless. I don't like being dirty. I take a little bit of pride in myself in a healthy way. So I never really look like I need help. I don't look like someone who's homeless. So I don't really ever get anybody offering to help, which is fine. I don't want to rely on anybody, but it would be nice once in a while. I don't really go without too much. I've never, obviously I'm still alive, and I think I look really healthy considering what I've been through. Getting those ego deaths of being able to ignore the ego's wants has been a huge blessing in my life, but it takes a lot of work to maintain it. It's just like the inner peace, the ability, all the meditation that I've gone through, and the deep introspection I've gone through over the last, not even just since I've been out here, but the last, I'd say 6 years, has gotten me to the point where I can catch a negative thought as it comes into my mind instantly. I recognize them right off the bat and get it right out of there instantly, usually. Some days I have days where I feel like feeling sorry for myself, and I do a little bit, but there's a price to pay for that, because any negativity you let into your life when you're on a journey of trying to be your best self hinders you a bit. It hinders the manifestation process. That's the biggest one, but it hinders you in a lot of ways. It can cause you to repress things that you need to work through. So not letting sleep deprivation, hunger, dirty looks, being dirty, being constantly cold and uncomfortable, I'm able to soldier through these things for the most part. I don't enjoy them at all. I don't think anybody would. And I'm not one of these Navy SEAL types that's going through it the whole time, shouting war chants and going, "Oh yeah, things suck, I'm getting stronger, yeah!" No. Although, I do remember listening to a Navy SEAL talk, and he said he liked it when things sucked because that meant that he was growing and becoming stronger. So I've kind of learned to try to adapt that philosophy. So every day, every minute, it seems like I'm growing stronger. So in doing things the way I've done it, I have built myself a solid foundation for the time of my life when my blessings come in, and I finally get the life that I dream of. I have built a firm foundation of positive mental health, a balanced emotional state, I don't want to say this, a disciplined mind, disciplined intellect. And then physically, I've also worked, I haven't been as diehard about the physical. I'll be honest, I just don't really like basic calisthenics. It's easy for me to forget to do them. But I have lost a lot of weight. Like I say, I think I'm down to about 170 pounds from my heaviest of being 240. I think I was 220 when I started this journey. I haven't been this skinny since I was in my 20s. I am told that I actually look younger than when I started out. I'm 51, and I keep getting people tell me I look like I'm in, well, except for the gray, I look like I'm in my 30s. Like I said, I don't recommend this journey. Not everybody has to go through something like this. Apparently, when I started this life, I just kind of went to the buffet line and said, heap it all on. I feel like I got to be getting close to my day of getting out of here. Never has there been a time where I could sense or see the totality of what it is that I needed to work through, or see what could potentially get in the way of my spiritual growth. So at any given time, I've always thought that I was close to getting out of here. And I have spiritually gaslighted myself many a times in this process. I will tell you, folks, look, if you're on a spiritual journey and you utilize tarot, be careful. And I'm not saying that in an alarming way. I'm just saying that understand the readers, understand that there are those who are spiritually channeling the divine, and there are those who just basically know the cards and are out to make a buck. There are certain kinds of readings you can see right off the bat. If it's a love reading, avoid it. If it's talking about, in the next 24 hours, this is going to happen, avoid it. Any kind of reading that places an expectation on you, negative or positive, don't. I try to go for not necessarily just tarot readers, but other types of mystics and channelers. And when I utilize that tool, I let my intuition guide me through those. Because if it's really easy to get into a doom scrolling mindset, and then you find yourself looking at tarot readings and these channeled readings, and you find yourself trying to apply every single one of them to your life, and it can drive you nuts. It can literally drive you to the insane asylum. So I would urge you, if any of you are using tarot, use your discernment, use your intuition. The best way I would say to use it is to put a question that you want to know spiritually out into the universe, and then look through the headings and see which one feels like it answers that question. Otherwise, avoid the rest of them. That has been one of the biggest obstacles, I would say, to my mental health, was that tool, and not knowing the ins and outs of it. There are a lot of so-called spiritual guides out there who are really just in it for the profit. If you find a spiritual guide who is trying to sell memberships to their classes or their courses or anything like that, avoid it. Because everybody's spiritual path is unique unto themselves. There is no system or curriculum that is going to apply to every single person on this journey. It's part of the reason I don't go too much in my videos about my journey, because what works for me may not work for other people. You have to find out what works for you. It's good to listen to other people and find little nuggets of wisdom here and there that you wish to apply, but don't try to emulate anybody. Find what makes you unique. Find your passions. Embrace your inner child. Let your inner child out. But make your path your own. One day, and we can mark my words, religion, in the not too distant future, is probably going to go by the wayside, because religion doesn't really have a valuable purpose when you know what the truth is. Religion is designed to keep you looking externally for salvation. The thing is, if you're a Christian, a lot of you probably already know all this, but if you're a Christian, you've been taught that Bible is the absolute truth no matter what. But the thing is those very people, that very same organization that tell you that this Bible is infallible and it's the truth, are the very same organization, types of people that centuries ago decided what Jesus said was going to be in the Bible and what wasn't. They actually had the nerve to take some of his teachings and say they are heretical and ban them from the Bible. And my point to this is in the Gospel of Thomas, one of the banned Gospels, Jesus says something that basically makes religions obsolete. And you can see why they banned the Gospel for this. Because he said that if you are looking for God in the sky, the birds will get there before you do. Look inside, because you are God. You are a piece of God. We all are. Every time you look at another human being, you're looking at a reflection of yourself. You're looking at God. When you know that you are God, that you are a part of Source, that all you have to do is go inward and nurture that divine spark, what's the point of religion anymore? Religion is solely about putting a dividing barrier between you and God, if you want to put it that way. It's a very external way of putting it, but that's I learned that as a kid when I went to 1 year of Catholic school. It was a good year of school. The people there treated me great, but the one thing that I noticed, as being someone who talked to God since I was born, was that they put this barrier in front of me and God. They said that I couldn't talk to God because I wasn't worthy of talking to God, which didn't make any sense to me because I had been talking to God on a daily basis my whole life at that point. So I knew something was up. My point of this is, like I said, to make your journey your own, and don't be afraid of learning. Anything that tries to make you fearful is something you need to eliminate from your life. And unfortunately, most religions, especially the Abrahamic religions, are fear-based. Don't be afraid of diving down rabbit holes of spirituality, of mysticism, of metaphysics, whatever. Even science, psychology, every area of knowledge, whether it be spiritual, physical, mental, intellectual, it all has a part. You have just got to take it upon yourself to pick and choose which parts of those are going to apply for you. And if any of you are on this journey like I am of self-improvement, then I say congratulations and I love you all. And I wish you all the best. Maybe I'll see some of you down the road. Who knows? I have no idea what's in store for me. I just know it's going to be a wild ride. It's been a wild ride so far. And the best is yet to come. Well, I think I'm about to call this video good for this time, this period, this day. Maybe reflect on it a little bit later. I've wanted to journal my spiritual growth process on one hand. On the other hand, I haven't. I've wanted to, for other people to learn from, but at the same time, I'm really an advocate of people figuring it out for themselves. But at the same time, if I can save anybody from making some of the mistakes that I made that are unnecessary, I'd like to do that. But I haven't written it down. I've utilized these videos as my diary, I guess you could say. I don't really expect anybody to look at them here and now. I know one day that there will be people that will be looking at my videos when the time is right. But for now, this is something for me to reflect upon once in a while and see how far I've come. Maybe when this journey's done, I'll look through all my videos and I will start writing a book or something. I know I was a scribe in a former life, and I think I did enough writing in that life that I don't really want to do it in this life. I've never really liked the process of writing. I always found it to be a frustratingly slow and corruptible form of communication. All you got to do is look at the Bible to see that. Now, I'm not saying this to hate on Christianity or anything like that. No. The organization itself is obsolete. It's the people themselves. There are some good people. I've met some good people who are involved with religions like that. But I've met good people from every walk of life. And the good people I've met that were Christians or that were Jewish or Buddhist, were people that all kind of had their own take on their beliefs. They didn't take everything literally into heart. They kept everything simple. The few Christians that I met in my life that I looked at and I felt that God was in them, I could just feel that love, were people that weren't churchgoers. They were people that prayed a lot, people who had that relationship, that understood that, even though they were never told to do that by a church. They just knew. And I'll never forget those people. They may never have had big roles in my life, but the example they set kind of set the tone for me in some ways. Even though I always had that relationship myself, seeing those people and seeing how happy they were. These were old, elderly people that I encountered as customers when I used to work in a grocery store back in my 20s. They were really old, but they were just super nice and super spry and vibrant, and each one of them had that one thing in common. Oh, it's because of the good Lord. And they didn't mean it in a hypocritical way. They were genuine. But again, they had their own take on it. Don't ever listen to what another man tells you your journey should be like. Don't ever listen to another person, because only you can say what your journey is. Anyway, I love you, and I feel like I'm ranting at this point. So, I'll leave it there. As Tigger would say, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.